Welcome to the deep dive. You asked, so we're delivering. Today, we're really getting into something specific.
We are. It's all about enhancing sexual experiences for men and women.
Exactly. We've got this Sex Encyclopedia, and honestly, we're digging through it based on your request for some, well, actionable insights.
Right. You wanted the practical stuff. And this guide, it covers quite a bit fellatio techniques, how to turn a man on, female ejaculation, even understanding his orgasm better.
Our goal here, our mission, if you like, is pretty simple. We want to give you knowledge you can actually use, maybe clear up some confusion.
Yeah, dispel some myths, hopefully leading to, more fulfilling experiences for you.
Okay, let's jump in. Fellatio first. The encyclopedia starts with an interesting point about pacing, men versus women at the start.
Yeah, it notes that while women often benefit from a slower build, men can sometimes, get aroused faster.
So what does it suggest?
Well, it's just maybe starting a bit slower, more indirect, maybe
Yeah.
kissing, caressing other areas first.
Yeah.
But the key thing is always watching his cues, being present.
Paying attention.
Right.
And it also says, don't be afraid to use your hands.
Definitely. Apparently, there are sensations you just, can't replicate with the mouth alone.
And it's not just about the penis, right? It mentions other zones.
Exactly. Nipples, for instance.
Yeah.
Some men are incredibly sensitive there, maybe even more than some women.
Really?
Yeah, and the scrotum, too. That can be a big source of pleasure, especially if you take your time. It really varies from person to person, though.
So it comes back to finding out what works for your partner.
Absolutely. Communication is, well, it's everything. The book even touches on, the buttocks, which might surprise some people, pleasure in unexpected places.
Okay, here's a big one it tackles. Swallowing versus spitting.
Ah, yes.
It suggests this can be more than just a physical thing for men.
It seems so.
Mm-hmm.
Psychologically, the act of spitting can apparently feel a bit like rejection, maybe subconsciously.
Interesting. It draws a parallel, doesn't it? Like how a woman might feel if a partner seemed, I don't know, put off during oral sex on her.
Precisely. And while many men might be used to partners not swallowing, the encyclopedia suggests that doing so can be a pretty powerful gesture. Acceptance, intimacy.
It's a reminder that guys have emotional sensitivities too, even if they don't always show it.
Definitely. Okay, so moving into some of the more advanced stuff it mentions.
Yeah, let's do it. First up, swallowing without the bad taste some people worry about.
Right, the fast swallowing technique.
What's the idea there?
Well, instead of pausing or holding it in your mouth, you swallow immediately, decisively, right as ejaculation starts.
Okay.
And if you can guide the tip towards the back of your mouth, it apparently goes down with minimal taste, maybe just a slight aftertaste.
So going faster is the key, not slower. That seems counterintuitive.
It does. But the thinking is that slowing down might actually intensify any unpleasant taste. Fast swallowing might even feel better for him, too.
And diet comes into it.
Yeah, it mentions that. Fruits might help, apparently. Fatty or spicy foods, maybe not so much. So maybe rethink the Vindaloo beforehand.
Good tip. Okay, next. Deep throating and the gag reflex.
Right. The book reframes the gag reflex. It's not something to fight against, but more like an interrupted swallow.
An interrupted swallow.
Yeah. So the trick isn't to suppress the urge, but to consciously complete the swallow when you feel it coming on.
That sounds like it takes practice.
It definitely does. The book acknowledges that. But mastering it can apparently lead to, well, pretty intense sensations. It even mentions sword swallowers as an extreme example.
Okay. And the last advanced technique was texture, variety.
Yes, variety is key for most men, according to this. While some might be okay with simple rhythm, most appreciate changing things up.
So switch techniques every few minutes.
Sort of, yeah. Move smoothly between different sensations. The encyclopedia actually details several things.
Like what?
Okay, so varying the suction pressure, using your tongue differently licking, especially the underside of the shaft, maybe involving the testicles, if he likes that.
Right.
Using your hands alongside the mouth, obviously. Then there's the cock pull, a specific hand motion,
Okay.
and something called the drum, which involves the testicles.
The drum. Tell me more.
It sounds specific. Gently pulling the testicles taut and then circling the end bit with your tongue.
Wow. Okay. And hands are crucial for some of these.
Absolutely. Things like the cock pull or just general caressing, you can't really do that with just your mouth. Alternating between mouth and hands can also keep things interesting, prevent jaw ache too.
Makes sense. And throughout all this, the main message is?
Pay attention. Communicate.
Yeah,
Watch his reactions. You need to be tuned in.
totally. Okay, let's shift gears. Setting the mood, how to turn him on tonight, as the book calls it.
Right, so foreplay doesn't just start 5 minutes before,
Build anticipation earlier.
exactly. A seductive phone call, maybe some flirty comments during the day, a lower tone of voice, hinting at desires.
Even if you're not super explicit.
Yeah, just expressing attraction, maybe recalling a great past moment together, that can really get things going. And keep talking, or at least making sounds later on. Silence can be a mood killer, apparently.
So verbal affirmation is important throughout.
Very much so. Then there's attire, lingerie.
What's the advice there? Choose something you both like.
Pretty much. It even suggests leaving catalogs around, subtly. Spandex, satin fabrics that feel good and look flattering. A mix of vampiness and elegance seems to be the goal.
Okay, noted. And food. What about food?
Light and energizing is the way to go. Lots of veggies, fruits, spices, things that might boost circulation or hormones.
Does it mention specific things?
Damiana gets a mention, that herb. But also, if healthy stuff doesn't scream romance to you, maybe add some indulgent touches, chocolate strawberries, salmon with vanilla, a glass of wine.
And the classic aphrodisiacs, oysters, champagne.
Yeah, it mentions them. Suggests there might be a tiny effect on testosterone,
Yeah.
but mostly it's the psychological association, the sexy vibe.
Right, the whole ritual of it. What about lighting?
Definitely important.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid harsh pink bulbs, apparently. Aim for warmer amber tones, like sunset, 60-watt amber bulbs or dimmer switches.
And if you only have white bulbs?
Lower wattage, and maybe let the light bounce off white sheets to soften it. Create a flattering glow.
Scent is next, right? Perfume.
Yes. Choose one that matches the vibe you want. Earthy, maybe spicy, creamy. Musk is mentioned as being a bit love it or hate it, so maybe test that one first.
And any surprising scents.
Okay, this was funny. A study apparently found the smell of cinnamon buns increased penile blood flow.
No way. Cinnamon buns.
Who knew? Maybe forget the expensive pheromones and just bake something.
Hilarious. Okay, what about massage?
Great way to ease into things. Create a calm atmosphere, warm the oil first, use slow, deliberate strokes.
Keep contact.
Yes, maintain skin contact, don't rush. Pay attention to pressure, what feels good to him. Linger.
And music. Gotta have the right music.
Oh yeah. Big thumbs up for Barry White in the encyclopedia.
Of course.
Apparently his voice is just incredibly persuasive. Also mentioned Teddy Pendergrass,
Mhm.
Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross.
Soulful stuff.
The idea is they sound like they're in love, and maybe he can project that onto himself, that loverman vibe.
Interesting psychology. And undressing. The art of the striptease.
Slow is key. Create some distance, tease a little, suggestive movements, maybe peekaboo with clothes, and lots of eye contact. Your face is the most captivating part, it says.
It's all about building that anticipation, using all the senses.
Exactly. Creating a whole experience. Okay, ready to tackle female ejaculation.
Let's do it. It can seem a bit mysterious, I think. What is the fluid, according to the encyclopedia?
Okay, so it describes it as similar to male prostate fluid. Usually clear or milky, thin, watery, and crucially, not urine.
Right. That's important to clarify. Different look, smell, taste, origin.
And it explains that physiologically, urinating during orgasm is basically impossible unless there's a weakness in the pubococcygeus muscle, the PC muscle, your Kegels.
Because those muscles contract during orgasm.
Right, and that contraction helps prevent urination. Understanding this difference can ease a lot of anxiety for both partners.
So how does the encyclopedia suggest stimulating it?
Primarily, it's about stimulating the G-spot, which is generally found about 2 inches inside the vagina on the front wall, sort of behind the clitoris.
And the technique involves?
Combining clitoral stimulation manual or oral with using 2 fingers inside to find and stimulate that G-spot.
Okay. What kind of motion with the fingers?
Various kinds. Stroking together, maybe alternating fingers or an in and out motion. But the key is doing it while also stimulating the clitoris.
And the pace.
Start slower, then increase the pace as orgasm gets closer.
What if someone finds it difficult to access the G-spot or achieve ejaculation? Any tips?
Yeah, it offers some troubleshooting. Trying the knee chest position might give better access. Adjusting the finger angle, maybe turning fingers down slightly.
Okay.
It even suggests possibly using the thumb to gently massage the urethra area externally while stimulating the clit and G-spot internally. The idea is to help override any need to pee sensation.
Right. And it mentions multiple orgasms and ejaculations are possible.
Yes, definitely. Sometimes 3 to 5 before the supply runs low temporarily.
And intercourse after ejaculation can be good too.
Apparently so. especially rear entry, which can keep stimulating the G-spot. It might lead to even more intense feelings, maybe more ejaculation.
It really highlights the potential for complex pleasure for women.
It does. Lots to explore. Okay, shall I move on to his orgasm? The 10 things he's dying to tell you.
Yes, let's demystify the male orgasm a bit. What's the first point?
Relieving performance pressure. This is a big one.
How so?
Sometimes the best way for him to have a really great orgasm is to just let him focus on himself. Take the pressure off him to make you orgasm first.
So giving him the night off, in a way, either saying it directly or just being receptive.
Exactly. Removing that expectation can free him up to just enjoy the sensations, which can actually lead to a more intense orgasm for him.
Okay, makes sense. Point two.
The power of anticipation. We touched on this earlier with setting the mood.
Right, teasing throughout the day.
Yeah, suggestive texts, playful touches. Building that desire over time can really amplify the final release. Plant that sexual seed, as the book puts it.
Point three.
Prolonged foreplay. The longer foreplay goes on, the more muscle tension builds, the more engorgement happens.
Leading to a bigger release?
Generally, yes. More pressure builds up,
Yeah.
often resulting in a more intense, maybe longer-lasting orgasm.
But men often want a quick release, don't they? Point four addresses that.
It does. It acknowledges that biological drive, but offers ways to prolong things if you both want to.
Like what?
Starting slow, taking little cooling off breaks. The woman on top position gives him more control over pacing.
And the squeeze technique.
Right, applying pressure just before he feels he's about to go over the edge.
Huh.
Managing arousal to build intensity.
Interesting. But then point five kind of flips that. Spontaneity.
Yeah, the slam dunk quickie, they call it. Sometimes the sheer raw passion of a quick, impulsive encounter can be surprisingly powerful. Taps into something primal, maybe.
And point six builds on that. The sneak attack.
Sort of. The element of sexual surprise. Catching him off guard, maybe a lazy weekend morning when testosterone is higher, cuts through daily stress, leads to a powerful climax.
Okay. Point seven seems pretty fundamental.
Direct penile stimulation. Yeah. While other touch is great for orgasm itself, the penis is, well, the main event for most men.
So positions that maximize that.
Like rear entry or woman on top again, those often lead to more intense orgasms. It also mentions the added pleasure from vaginal squeezes, from Kegels.
Right. Okay. Point eight, forbidden zones. What does that cover?
Other spots that can really heighten things for some men,
Yeah.
right at the point of climax. Gently stroking the testicles is one.
Okay. What else?
Nipple stimulation again, finger sucking, even massaging the perineum, that area between the scrotum and anus right as he comes. But these are very individual preferences.
Got it. Point nine, respecting the sacred moment.
Yes. The male orgasm has 2 stages, apparently. The first is the point of ejaculatory inevitability. Once that starts, it's usually best to just let it happen.
Don't suddenly change things up or distract him.
Pretty much. Just allow the orgasm to unfold naturally.
And the final point, number 10, love him to death. This sounds emotional.
It is. It suggests that orgasm can actually leave a man feeling quite vulnerable, really sensitive to the emotional connection, the environment.
And surprisingly, oral sex isn't always the preferred route to orgasm.
That's what the encyclopedia's research indicated, yeah. Often more valued as foreplay.
Oh.
Ultimately, it concludes men are looking for the same core things as women.
Which are?
Love, acceptance, deep intimacy. Simple affection, feeling connected during climax can be incredibly powerful for him.
That's a really important note to end on. It brings it all together, physical and emotional.
It really does.
So, wrapping this deep dive up, what are the big takeaways from the Sex Encyclopedia?
Well, I think it's clear that enhancing things sexually is, it's not just one thing. It's a mix of physical technique, sure, but also emotional connection and really open communication.
Understanding what your partner likes, being willing to try new things, paying attention.
Absolutely. Those seem crucial for creating more satisfaction for both people.
And for you listening, maybe think about which of these ideas resonated most. Is there something you might want to explore or talk about with your partner?
Yeah, it's an ongoing journey, isn't it? Exploring, connecting, understanding each other better. That pursuit itself can be really rewarding.
A great thought to leave everyone with. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
My pleasure.
Till next time.